Spring light pressed against the high windows of Travis County Family Court, turning the varnished panels the color of dark honey. Derek Lang stood as if on stage, chin up, cufflinks flashing. "I'm taking half your millions," he told the room, "including Cedar Ridge." His voice bounced off oak and flag and seal, as if the demand had already been granted. Monica Hale did not rise. She adjusted the strap of her bag and rested one fingertip on the edge of a manila envelope, then lifted her hand as though the paper were hot. Naomi Pritchard, her attorney, shifted a legal pad closer, pen waiting. Across the aisle, Colin Briggs smoothed his tie, nodding to encourage Derek to keep going. Judge Avery Cole watched over the rims of reading glasses. A single tap of a pencil on the bench quieted the pews. The hum of the vent picked up, then settled. Reporters leaned forward until their chairs complained. Someone's recorder clicked, red light steady. "This marriage created marital assets," Colin announced, palms open in a practice spread. "My client is entitled to his share." A murmur stirred the back rows the way wind combs tall grass. Family drama stories rarely begin this late, but here they were, already at the knife of division, one more scene viewers of Crimson Heirs would recognize from the sharpest family revenge stories. Monica stared at the seal of Texas stitched into the blue flag, not at Derek. 5 years, a house on Shoal Creek, 2 sets of golf clubs she never used. She placed both hands flat on the table and squared the stack of pleadings to a perfect right angle. Small motions, clean edges. "Ms. Hale," Judge Cole said, voice even. "Do you wish to respond?" Naomi glanced left, a breath that barely moved Monica's shoulders. She shook her head once, wait, then nodded, now. "Your Honor," Naomi said, rising. "The response will be brief." Derek smiled without showing teeth. He had the posture of a man near a finish line, chin tilted, nostrils flaring like a runner catching the tape. He adjusted his tie again, then slid his phone face down as if tucking away applause. The courtroom smelled faintly of furniture polish and paper. Dust drifted in the slant of sun that cut the air between counsel tables. Somewhere a bailiff's keyring chimed. A child laughed and was shushed. Colin nudged a folder toward Derek. Derek's fingers drummed on it, like a man keeping time to a song only he could hear. Naomi's pen rested. Monica's hand hovered again above the envelope, hovered and withdrew, hovered and settled. The lip of the flap was crisp, unwarped, like something bought days ago. "This won't take long," Naomi said. Judge Cole inclined her head. Monica shifted the envelope closer with 2 fingers, the motion precise enough to seem rehearsed. The courtroom leaned with her. Every gaze narrowed, not on Derek's grin, but on the unremarkable paper rectangle that pooled gravity. Hooked to the silence, Naomi let 2 beats pass. Then Monica slid the envelope into the light. Inside was the document Derek had signed, bold, careless, witnessed, and never read. Hours before Monica slid the manila envelope into the Texas light, their timeline began years earlier, under neon and air conditioning at a logistics expo in Houston. Derek Lang found her at a booth of barcode posters. He asked about throughput like a man interested in process, not spectacle. Monica answered with numbers, penciling quick funnels on a handout, the corners pressed flat by her thumb. He laughed at the pauses and suggested dinner, to keep talking shop, a phrase that promised business and implied more. His shoes were mirror bright. Her lanyard was frayed, the contrast said enough. A rooftop bar, then a chef's counter with 11 courses, drives into hill country to decompress. Maps printed, playlists queued, return times set, arrival photos posted. Derek paid with a metallic card that chimed. He arrived with tissue-wrapped flowers, stems ruler cut. Monica logged flights in a slim notebook, a Hale Strata habit, tabs, colors, dates. He gestured big. She aligned forks, squared napkins, smoothed a wrinkle no one saw. By month 8, he proposed above downtown lights. A string quartet played while a drone slid between buildings. The ring caught street lamps, phone screens, her held breath. "Life is short," he said, dropping to one knee on a centered runner. "Let's not overthink a good thing." She nodded. The quartet swelled. A server appeared with champagne. Later, over cooling coffee, Naomi Pritchard laid out what a good thing would still require. A prenuptial agreement, she said, binder open. Protect what exists and what may arrive. She tapped 3 flagged pages. 4A for property owned before marriage, 4B for any inheritance received during marriage, 6 to waive spousal support. Independent counsel is recommended for Derek, Naomi added, tapping that line again. Monica traced the margin, then capped her pen. Outside, a bus sighed and pulled away, like the city agreed. At the signing, the room was so small the copier could be heard. 2 witnesses waited with IDs ready. The notary primed her seal. The notary read names, slow and careful, each syllable a stamp. Derek spun a blue fountain pen between fingers, flashing a heavy watch, then grinned. Love doesn't need fine print, he joked, and initialed where stickers told him. When Naomi repeated the offer, would you like your own attorney? Derek waved it off, casual, a man late to a tea time. He signed, he dated, he handed back the pen like closing a tab. Documents slid into a folder labeled in Naomi's tidy hand. Prenup. Hail. Naomi slid a copy across, kept the original. The copy stayed. The original would do heavier lifting. Monica aligned the folder's edge with the binder's spine until corners met clean. She watched the seal dry matte. No speeches, no victory lap. Just paper, witnesses, a seal, a ledger's balance. On Crimson Heirs, where family revenge stories braid through family drama stories, such beginnings rarely look like battles. They look like dinners, lighting, a sentence said too quickly. They look like a man laughing as he signs a promise he didn't read. Years later, that folder lived inside a manila sleeve, the one Monica eased toward the bench, Chekhov's envelope edging into light. One careless signature, and the price would be counted in years, in debt, in the ruins of Derek's plan. 16 months after the rooftop proposal, the email arrived with a subject line that opened like a gate. Estate distribution, Hale family. Monica read it twice, forwarded it to Naomi Pritchard, and printed a hard copy for the binder Naomi had labeled Prenup, Hale. At a private bank, she signed forms in a glass room the color of rain. The officer slid a folder across, separate property account in calm capitals, and confirmed a wire, $2.6 million. At Cedar Ridge, a caretaker walked her through keys, meters, and fences. The key to the great room hung from a leather loop darkened by years of hands. Monica took inventory, then drove back to Austin with the folder seat-belted beside her. Derek said he wanted to be present for this new chapter, and resigned by summer's end. He celebrated with a car whose doors lifted like theater curtains. He narrated the drive home as if filming, tapping the dash to mark chapters. At the golf club, he posed by the leaderboard, captioned, Investor Life. When the membership packet arrived, he fanned the pages like money and asked for a pen. Friends began calling him D. He kept the nickname, collected handshakes, and talked about deploying capital over short ribs. Monica did not switch habits. Household bills stayed on Hale Strata earnings. The inheritance remained in accounts under her name. She requested written confirmation from the bank. No commingling, no transfers to joint checking. She filed letters in clear sleeves and color-coded the months, blue for statements, green for tax slips, red for anything Naomi might call exhibit. After each session, she locked the banking app and set the phone face down until the glass went black. The binder's spine clicked, tabs sat flush, receipts breathed in envelopes stamped, do not commingle. Derek's spending turned into anecdotes. He booked a networking retreat in Santa Fe with a spa itinerary and called it Diligence. He bought a limited edition watch and learned how the clasp should sound. He staked a friend's whiskey bar, texting photos of a chalkboard pro forma and a neon sign humming over empty stools. On opening week, he shook hands past midnight and promised tastings. By spring, a spreadsheet showed a loss line, $28,000. He pinned it with a shrug emoji and wrote, Early days. At Cedar Ridge, he introduced himself as curator, though Monica handled every invoice. He lined bottles and asked where the good glasses lived. At the club, he told a circle of men, Our family money is finally working. Monica stood a pace behind, noting the plural. Later, she said only, Household stays on earnings. Cedar Ridge funds remain separate. He lifted 2 fingers in a mock salute and changed the subject. Contrast sharpened. Derek set a metallic card down with a practiced click. Photos framed cuff, grill, marble. Monica aligned tabs, sealed sleeves, filed receipts. On Crimson Heirs, where family revenge stories weave through family drama stories, shifts like this look ordinary until they don't. A wallet opening, a ledger closing. Winter folded over Austin. After uploading February statements, Monica opened Derek's shared drive to drop a brief calendar invite for Cedar maintenance. A new folder waited there, named with discretion but not imagination. Strategy. Inside, an email chain mapped a divorce like a product launch. Timelines, narratives, phrases to test at the club. The countdown to sealing the envelope had begun. The folder named Strategy still glowed in Monica's memory the next morning, the way a hazard light keeps blinking after the engine is off. She brought a printed copy to Naomi Pritchard's office, 3 clips binding the pages. Naomi read without commentary, only underlining dates and circling phrases like, maximize settlement narrative. When she finished, she closed the stack with both palms as if leveling a picture frame. We file first, she said. Monica nodded, already switching her phone to a clean calendar and silencing notifications. They built a list on a yellow pad, full financial disclosures, bank letters confirming the separate property account, Cedar Ridge invoices, tax schedules, the notarized prenuptial agreement, and every receipt that proved a clean border between marital and separate funds. Naomi's paralegal wheeled in a scanner. The carriage hummed a line while pages marched through. Staples popped, then new staples landed true. Tabs multiplied. 4A, 4B, 6. Clear plastic flags that caught the light like small sails. At the private bank, Monica requested fresh letters with declarative sentences. No commingling, no transfers, no joint access. Back home, she photographed the envelopes and sealed them again, documenting the undisturbed flaps. She exported monthly statements to PDF, renamed them with the quiet ruthlessness of an accountant, and filed each behind a blue divider. The binder's spine clicked closed, straight as a rule. Her motions were the same ones she used the day Naomi tapped independent counsel and waited for him to hire his own lawyer. They rehearsed in Naomi's conference room. Chairs stood in for counsel tables. A metal coaster played the gavel. The manila envelope waited at Monica's right hand. When the room leans in, we open, Naomi said. Not before. She practiced the timing on the words, Your Honor, until the syllables stacked like stones. Monica practiced the reach. 2 fingers to the envelope, draw it into the light, stop. The stop mattered most. The paralegal assembled the trial binder, black-lipped and unshowy, with exhibits A through G riding behind slick covers. The prenup, original, went into its own sleeve, then into the envelope. The flap took glue cleanly. Naomi pressed it flat with the side of a thumb and wrote a quiet label along the top edge. Monica slipped the envelope into her bag and felt its weight settle against the lining, like a tool in a pocket you forget until your hand finds it again. On Crimson Heirs, where family revenge stories braid inside larger family drama stories, victories rarely arrive as fireworks. They arrive as paperwork, timestamps, and a hinge that opens at the right second. By late winter, the petition was filed, service perfected, and a hearing date inked. In the courthouse lobby, Monica tested the zipper once, then let her hand fall. Timing would do the rest. Just one pull on the paper's edge, and Derek's plan would crack along its first fold. Morning call to order came like a metronome. Bailiff's baritone, the scrape of benches, the shuffle of legal pads. Judge Avery Cole took the bench, glasses low, pencil ready. Naomi Pritchard placed her palm on the table and felt for the corner of the manila envelope, exactly where she and Monica had rehearsed it to sit. 2 fingertips touched the paper, then lifted. Timing was a tool. Derek Lang looked past his attorney. He angled his watch toward the room. Colin Briggs rose. Your Honor, marital assets are before the court. My client seeks an equal division, including Cedar Ridge. Judge Cole nodded once. Response? Naomi stood. Your Honor, there is a prenuptial agreement. She did not hurry. 2 fingers drew the envelope into the light. The clerk came forward. Naomi offered the envelope with a small tilt, the flap up so the seal could be seen. The room stilled. Colin's eyebrows climbed. We were not apprised. The court will review, Judge Cole said. The clerk broke the seal along the edge, careful and clean. She handed up the original. Blue ink initials winked through plastic. The notary's stamp sat in relief like a pressed coin. Derek shifted his stance. He pulled his tie knot, then released it. One foot searched for a rung that wasn't there. He leaned toward Colin and spoke without moving lips. Colin nodded and reached for a legal pad. "For the record," Judge Cole said, opening to the first page. "Date of execution reads 6 weeks prior to marriage. 2 witnesses present. Notary acknowledgement complete. Financial disclosures attached." She flipped. "There is also a signed waiver of independent counsel." Colin swallowed. "Your Honor, may we request a brief recess to review?" 10 minutes, Judge Cole said. Groups formed. Colin steered Derek toward a window where Austin's sun cut a white rectangle across the floor. Pages fanned. Derek's finger landed on the signature page, then the waiver. He shook his head in tight, fast motions. Colin wrote notes without spaces. Monica and Naomi stayed seated. Naomi tapped tab 4B with her pen, then closed the binder with a quiet click. "Sparse words," she said. "Let the document speak." Monica nodded, eyes on the empty envelope sleeve, edges still crisp. Recess ended. The bailiff's voice filled the wood again. Judge Cole returned and gestured to counsel. Colin adjusted. "Your Honor, my client believed this was a formality presented in the context of romance. He was misled as to scope." "Counsel," Judge Cole said, "are you asserting duress?" "No, Your Honor, we assert misunderstanding." "Did your client waive independent counsel?" Colin hesitated. "He did." "Was the waiver signed before a notary?" "Yes." "Did your client read the agreement before signing?" Silence widened. Derek's gaze tracked to the clock. A reporter stopped scribbling. Monica's hands rested flat, a mirror of the morning Naomi tapped that same line. "Mr. Lang," Judge Cole said. "Did you read it?" Derek cleared his throat. His tie had shifted left. He straightened it. "I skimmed it," he said. The words landed like a dropped wrench. In the back row, a chair creaked and then did not. Naomi let the beat pass. 1, 2. "Your Honor," she said, "the agreement speaks clearly. Sections are labeled in plain language. Disclosures are stapled behind the signature page. The waiver is initialed twice." Judge Cole turned another page. "I see Section 4A. Property owned prior to marriage remains separate. Section 4B addresses inheritance within marriage. Section 6 addresses spousal support, waived by both parties." Her pencil tapped each heading. Colin rallied. "Respectfully, Your Honor, the equities, emotional support, lifestyle upgrades should inform division." "The agreement controls where valid," Judge Cole replied. "We will proceed accordingly." Derek's fingers whitened along the table's edge. He looked to the gallery, then down. He tried a smile that did not finish. The flag's fringe stirred in the vent's current and settled again. On Crimson Heirs, where family revenge stories braid through family drama stories, power can hinge on a breath, a sentence, a single careless admission set under oath. Here, that hinge had swung. Judge Cole stacked the pages square. She lifted her gaze. "We'll read the relevant provisions into the record." The room pulled in. Pens hovered, shoulders lifted, then stilled. Next, the courtroom would hear every word of Section 4B and Section 6. The clerk marked exhibits, one sticker at a time, and placed the original under the lights. Judge Avery Cole squared the pages, pencil ready, the prenup's blue initials showing through a clear sleeve. "For the record," she said, the microphones catching each word. "Section 4A. Property owned before the marriage remains the separate property of that spouse and is not subject to division." Her pencil tapped once. She turned the page. The notary embossing left a raised moon under her thumb. "Section 4B, she read. "Any inheritance received by either party during the marriage shall be treated as separate property and shall not be divided upon dissolution." The syllables traveled to the back row, where a reporter paused mid-scribble. Air moved, flags breathed, shoes settled. Naomi Pritchard rose just enough to be recognized. "Exhibit D confirms no commingling, Your Honor." She held up a letter on embossed stationery. Separate property account. Exhibit E, monthly statements. Plastic sleeves flashed. Exhibit F, Cedar Ridge expenses paid from Hale Strata earnings. Exhibit G, tax schedules reflecting the same. Counsel for Mr. Lang, Judge Cole said, turning her attention. Any evidence to the contrary? Colin Briggs lifted his chin, then lowered it to the folder. Respectfully, Your Honor, we contend the agreement is unconscionable given the disparity in resources and the lifestyle built together. The agreement contains detailed financial disclosures, Judge Cole said, flipping to a tabbed appendix. Signed acknowledgments by both parties. Do you claim the disclosures were incomplete? Colin's pen hovered. No, Your Honor. Do you claim duress? No. Then what is your legal basis? Misunderstanding, Colin said. The document was presented in a romantic context, and my client believed it to be ceremonial. Judge Cole looked over the rims of her glasses. Mr. Lang waived independent counsel in writing. Mr. Lang, did you read the agreement before signing? Derek Lang shifted in his chair. The tie he had corrected twice had slid left again. He glanced at the clock, then at the gallery, as if a cue might arrive from someone else's face. I skimmed it, he said. A murmur rose, then broke against the bailiff's stare. Naomi set her pen down and let her hands still. Monica Hale straightened one page on the table and left it perfectly parallel to the edge. The clerk's finger traced the waiver line, then the notary block, then rested. Very well, Judge Cole said. We will continue. She returned to the body of the contract. Section 6. Each party waives any right to receive alimony or spousal support from the other, regardless of disparity in income. The pencil tapped again, 3 small beats. Colin tried a new angle. Your Honor, the equities include Mr. Lang's emotional support, his decision to step back from employment to facilitate Mrs. Hale's success, and the lifestyle enhancements jointly enjoyed. The agreement controls where valid, Judge Cole answered. And it is valid. She lifted the separate account letter. Mrs. Hale, did you at any time use inheritance funds for household expenses or joint purchases? Monica. No, Your Honor. Did you ever deposit inheritance funds into a marital account? No. Did you maintain the inheritance in accounts solely titled to you? Yes. Any documentation? Naomi. All in Exhibits D through G. Judge Cole nodded. Counsel? Colin's throat worked. We have no documentary evidence to contradict. Derek surged half out of his chair. She paid for vacations, resorts, flights. Mr. Lang, Judge Cole said, not raising her voice. Do you have records showing those charges came from inheritance accounts? Derek's mouth closed. He shook his head once. The judge waited until the quiet returned. The vent ticked as the unit cycled. Flags settled. Reporters lifted pens and held them above paper. On Crimson Heirs, where family revenge stories interlace with family drama stories, power can turn on 3 printed words. Separate, waived, enforced. Here, those words lived in ink, seals, signatures, and the clean edges of uncommingled money. Judge Cole stacked the pages, squared them with the bench, and set the pencil aside. The gavel lay to her right, like a held breath. When a court finds a prenuptial agreement valid and enforceable, she said, the agreement governs asset division and spousal support. We will proceed to orders. The room leaned, then froze, utterly still. When the gavel falls, Derek's number is 0. Judge Avery Cole aligned the contract with the edge of the bench and set her pencil aside. The court finds the prenuptial agreement valid and enforceable, she said. Accordingly, asset division and support will follow its terms. The gavel did not fall yet. The room held still, as if a photograph waited to be taken. Dissolution is granted, she continued. No transfer of premarital assets. Any inheritance remains separate property. Spousal support is waived by both parties. She lowered her gaze to the table on the right. Debts incurred individually remain with the party who incurred them. Mr. Lang, records show credit cards, a vehicle loan, golf club fees, and a failed hospitality investment. Total approximately $81,000. Those obligations remain yours. A sound traveled through the gallery like wind under a door. Derek Lang pushed up from his chair and sank back. The knot of his tie listed left. Colin Briggs pressed a palm toward the floor. Down. Monica Hale zipped her bag halfway and stopped, the zipper tab resting against leather. "Nothing?" Derek asked, voice smaller than the room. "Nothing," Judge Cole answered, even as a clerk placed an order on the rail. "Counsel will collect certified copies from the clerk." The pencil returned to its groove. The gavel lifted and fell once, a clean strike. People breathed again. Reporters bent to their notebooks. A recorder light blinked. And the bailiff opened the side door to let the hum of the corridor through. Colin leaned close to his client. "We'll review options," he said, already sliding files into a briefcase. The metal clasp snapped shut faster than intended. Derek stared at the seal of Texas above the bench as though it might shift. His phone vibrated. The screen brightened with a past due notice from the club, then another from the bank. He turned the device face down, then back over, then face down again. An email subject line announced suspension of privileges. The club's gate code would deactivate at midnight, pending settlement of the outstanding balance immediately. Monica signed for her copy. Naomi Pritchard thanked the clerk, squared the trial binder, and slipped the pen into its loop. No speeches, only footsteps, paper, a hinge finding its seat. Monica placed the manila envelope inside her bag and pulled the zipper the rest of the way, teeth closing like a line of lights going dark. Outside the courtroom, sun painted a bar across the floor. Derek stepped into it and stopped. A friend from the club passed, gave a quick nod, and kept walking. In the lot, a yellow tag fluttered under the windshield wiper of the luxury car, warning about delinquent payments. Derek peeled it off slowly, folded the paper twice, and tucked it into his pocket. On Crimson Heirs, where family revenge stories run beneath larger family drama stories, moments like this do not roar, they click. One debt notice, one revoked membership, one word spoken under oath and captured by a microphone. Derek loosened his tie and looked for Colin, who was already at the elevator. Monica shifted the strap of her bag to the other shoulder. Naomi tapped the call button. The doors opened with a chime. After court comes real life, and the fall begins today. The orders traveled faster than Derek expected, almost overnight. By week's end, his club badge flashed red. A guard raised a palm and turned him away. In the garage, a tow strap tightened, and the luxury coupe rolled back like a curtain. He kept a hand on the door as if weight could stall a winch. Recruiters replied with clipped pleasantries, then silence. A manager skimmed his resume, smiled past him, and said they were exploring other fits. He rode a bus south to San Marcos with a dented suitcase and a framed photo turned face down. At his parents' house, he carried boxes past a ficus, paused, and stared at a bedroom painted a decade ago. Nights, he scrolled past invitations he would not open. Mornings, he folded a tie he no longer wore and set it in a drawer. The bankruptcy form waited on the table today. His pen hovered, landed, lifted, hovered again. Monica did not look back. At Hale Strata, she reserved a conference room, taped a temporary sign on the glass, Hale Legacy Fund, and placed flyers titled Do Not Commingle 101. Naomi refined the intake checklist. Disclosures, separate accounts, counsel for both sides. The first call came at 9:12 a.m., a voice asking how to protect an inheritance before a wedding. Monica scheduled a consult and opened a clean folder, tabbed green, with the date on its spine. A Saturday workshop followed, slides reading Prenup Basics 4A, 4B6. Questions were short, pencils scratched, heads tipped in understanding. A week later, an email arrived. I walked out with my name intact. Monica printed it, hole-punched, and filed it in a section labeled Thank You. Crimson Heirs would call this the quiet end of certain family revenge stories, the practical turn inside broader family drama stories, one where paper, stamps, and timing lift more weight than speeches. Monica shelved the trial binder, placed an empty manila envelope beside it, and closed the cabinet. From now on, every carefully sealed envelope isn't just for defense. It teaches others how to stand tall,